Hey everyone, this is Sarah,
And I'm Tiffany.
and we are from the Clean Romance Podcast, and we have a huge goal, and we were wondering if you could help us with it.
We are trying to hit 1,000 followers by the end of the month because Sarah and I are going to a writing conference together, and we want to be able to go live when we're together on Instagram. And you need 1,000 followers to do that.
We have so many fun ideas, like a Get Ready With Me, where we get to talk and go live. And we want to show you Austin, Texas, and all the fun things we're seeing when we're there. So help us, please, get to 1,000 followers. You can follow us yourself if you don't already, and tag a friend you know who loves clean romance.
Our handle is at the Clean Romance Podcast. So share in your stories, tag us in your stories, and share with a friend.
We're going to be doing giveaways when we hit 500 and then again when we hit 1,000 followers.
Thanks for helping us out.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Tiffany.
And this is the Clean Romance Podcast. We're going to break down 5-star reads, hot button topics, and what makes clean romance shine. So, today to get us started, Tiffany, do you make New Year's resolutions? We need to unpack this.
Right. Yeah. Not this year.
Okay.
Well, so I have habits that I feel like I'm constantly trying to have, right? And I feel like the new year is a good time to like reinstate those habits. So for example, one of my habits that I want it to be part of my life, and I go back and forth with how well I do with it, is I don't want to touch my phone until I've read my Bible and homeschooled my kids, which today I did that, and I did not touch my phone until noon. So we'll see if, like, practically speaking, I don't know how I'll do with that as far as homeschooling, but for sure, like reading my Bible without touching my phone, that's like a habit that I want to always have. And I'm usually good about it, but the last month or so was not good.
So do you sleep with your phone by your bed or do you put it somewhere else?
So I go back and forth with what I do, but lately I have it in a drawer next to my bed.
Okay.
But sometimes I've plugged it in the bathroom to help like not touch my phone right away.
Yeah. I tried a few months ago like sleeping with my phone in the basement or just like in a totally different room.
Yeah.
It was mind-boggling how difficult it was because for one, I read myself to sleep usually on my phone because my husband's in bed, the lights are off, and the phone has that little, it's a backlit so I can see. And so I couldn't read myself to sleep anymore. And then I use my phone flashlight all the time. So if I have to get up and use the bathroom in the middle of the night, I just grab my phone and turn on the flashlight so I don't trip on anything. So then I had to like find a flashlight, and then it also just feels like I've left an appendage downstairs, which really bothers me that it feels that way. I was very disappointed in myself at how hard it was literally just to sleep with it in another room. But I love that, and it's made me want to buy myself a Kindle so that I can read. And so but it's like I have to have 6 different things by my bed to make up for not having a phone there.
So true. That's so true. But I will say about the Kindle, I got a Kindle for Christmas. I think it was last year. And that made a huge difference for me. One, I do think the lighting on the Kindle is just better for your eyes and stuff before bed. So I think that's helpful. But then I don't know, it's just nicer to be able to check out. Like I do want to have some time where I'm reading, and I usually read on my phone before I got my Kindle, and I'm not getting distractions. You know what I mean? So I think that having the Kindle like really does make a difference.
Okay. My one last pushback to this really good habit that I believe in, but I can't make myself do. so sometimes when I'm really tired in the morning and I know I need to wake up, I scroll social media, and I know it's a bad habit, but it wakes my brain up. Like,
Yeah.
it helps wake me up. And so, and again, the whole time I'm doing, I'm like, I know I should go to my Bible first, but
Right.
my brain is just barely awake, and it helps slowly like acclimate me to life.
It's true. Yeah. For a long time, what I was doing was I was going on the Bible app on my phone and just
Okay.
doing they have like a daily scripture reading
Yes.
and they have some Christian personality person like do a little devotional.
Right. The little
And that was like
devotionals.
my right. That was my wake up thing, where it's like
Okay.
I'm on my phone, but I'm still reading my Bible, but I'm trying to just not touch my phone because it
Okay.
is crazy. I feel like I wake up and that's the first thing I feel a pull toward the phone. And I'm just like, I do not want this to have this power over me. And
Yes.
I feel so much more when I don't touch my phone in the morning. I feel so much more engaged and present with what I'm doing with my kids, with my Bible reading, whatever it is. And it's really freeing.
Okay.
What about
All
you? Do
right.
you have any New Year's resolutions?
So I stopped making like official resolutions. I
Okay.
have, I guess, like growth things that I want to do.
Yeah.
So I know this sound well, one thing I want to I actually well, we'll get to this in a minute. I'm cutting back on my reading, which is a random thing when we have a podcast about reading.
Right.
But I also this I'm like embarrassed to say this. I want to learn to make money. Like this year,
I feel that.
I find myself this is what I've decided. I get very, very zoned in on goals, and I latch in on them really hard. And when I do that, it could be like a God given goal. Like, I know God called me to this, but I will get so latched on to the goal that I just like, who's God? What? Huh? Like, I am so obsessive over what I'm going after. And so, the last like decade, I've had to start weaning myself back and like learning to rate myself. But because of that, I I stopped looking at money. And my husband is like, "Could you contribute?" And like, don't I work nonstop. Like, I don't turn my TV on all day. I am going nonstop working, but I am not money focused. And so this year, and I watch, I'm very observant. I watch my friends who are super well off and my friends who like feel like they're on the struggle bus and stuff, and it's really just seems to be a learned skill. And so I am going to learn the skill, and I'm going to do it prayerfully so I don't get I don't want to get obsessed with money. I just want to like get better at money.
Yeah.
So
I feel that. I'm sure a lot of authors feel that too.
Yes.
Like we're maybe as a breed, we're not numbers money people. Like the starving artist thing, I think is it's a stereotype for a reason.
Yeah, because we're so focused on our craft. It's like, yes, money is important, but we are passionate people and we're generally following our passion instead of dollar signs. And I mean, I have a business degree. Like I know the basics of business but it's just it's what I will say what you focus on grows. And I focus on craft, or I mean, truthfully, I've always just tried to focus on where the Lord wants to take me. And so I'm praying about it. I'm like, God, I need you to help me learn how to make money and focus on you at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. We're going to learn to make money this year.
All right.
I actually almost joked, like, you're not supposed to tell people when you're out of town, but everyone knew I was out of town because I broadcasted it on the podcast. But y'all, there's like nothing we're stealing at my house, so don't come rob me, okay? We bought our TV like 15 years ago. Like, there's nothing. I take my good jewelry with me, and I only have like 3 pieces, so.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, yeah. We're watching Home Alone, and I'm like, oh, dang, I shouldn't be telling people that I'm going out of town.
Yeah. I know. I felt that way. Tyler went out of town, and so me and the boys were just at home by ourselves. And there were a few times that I wanted to say something about being by myself, like solo parenting on social media. And I was like, nope, like I do
Don't do
not
it.
want people knowing I'm
That's true.
husbandless at home. Not that we have anything we're stealing either, but
yeah, nothing worth stealing in my house. But yeah, I get the Home Alone thing a little bit more. I think to me that's more scary than. Anyway, we've gotten way off topic.
Yeah, we really have. Okay, we have things to talk about other than being home alone.
Yes, it's the beginning of the year, and in reading groups all over the world, everyone is obsessing over reading goals and Goodreads and all these book tracking charts, and they're wanting book titles that start with different letters and books written, I don't know, there's so many things. And so my question for you, first question, Tiffany, is do you set a Goodreads reading goal?
So I used to, and I stopped this past year, 2025. I stopped setting a goal. I think I put something in there just so I can, I don't know, like be in the year. I don't know how to say that,
right.
But like, I still want to be able to track my reads on Goodreads and be able to go back and see what I read. But I don't set a reading goal. And the reason why is because I want reading to be for enjoyment. And I think especially because I'm writing,
mm-hmm.
I want to be able to have a time where I'm really checking out while I read.
Right.
And it's just purely entertainment, and I don't have to feel guilty or some type of way about it. What about you? Do you have reading goals?
So for like I don't know how long this Goodreads reading goal has been going on for. I've been clued in on it for maybe 6 years, and I did 100 books a year for the first few years. I almost always hit it, and I never was. I think one time I missed it by like 2 books, and I was never really like. I don't think, oh, I've got to get my book reading goal,
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it subconsciously toys with you. Like when you go to log the book, it will be like you're 2 books ahead or you're 5 books behind, and
right.
My competitive, like goal oriented self gets a little bit like, oh, I need to read more, or oh, good, I'm ahead, and so I don't know. I bumped it back last year to 75 because I really just use it for tracking. Mm-hmm. And then this year I bumped it to 50 because I wanted to be willing. I find myself unwilling to read long books, like Brandon Sanderson books. I really enjoy Brandon Sanderson, but his books are long, and I want to read more classics, and I generally avoid them because they just take more time. And I subconsciously am like, well, I'm not going to get enough books read. I don't want to spend that much time on a book. I want to read more books instead of one long book. But this year I want to sit in some books. I want to read some longer ones.
Yeah. I feel that too. I feel like I want to read for enjoyment when I'm ready to read for enjoyment, but I'm also feeling a little bit more of the pull to read intentionally this year, which I'm seeing a lot of online people with their, New Year's reading goals and resolutions and all of that. People just wanting to be more intentional, which I really love and appreciate. And I think as an author, I want to read books that are going to stretch me, books that are maybe outside of my comfort zone. And I don't mean comfort zone in the sense of like spicy versus clean, just more of, for example, I'm really in the rom-com space currently because that's what I'm writing, but reading outside of that genre, still reading clean, but reading outside of that genre, reading maybe heavier works, maybe longer works, maybe classics, like you were saying, and stretching myself as an author, but then still like having when I'm ready for my entertainment and like checking out of, writer mode,
yes,
still having like the fun reads. That's not going to end. Like I'm always going to have my go-to fun reads,
It's hard. Like I've even this week been like I'm working through a memoir, and I'm like 40% in, and I'm like, I'm switching to a rom-com.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And I was just thinking about, I was like, well, I wonder if people do this with my book too. I don't know. Since I wrote a memoir. But anyway, I don't know. It's okay if we do, because we're all reading different stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not going to finish that book, but I was just like, I've had enough heavy stuff for the night. I would like to read a rom-com. And then I fell asleep anyway.
And I think there's like nothing wrong with that, right? Like, I've definitely picked up books and not been in the mood for that book and thought, oh, I probably won't pick this up again. And then months or even years later, picked up the same book and loved it. And I think that's okay. And I really want readers to feel like that is really okay, even if it's my book or your book, you know,
right.
like I think we want people to pick up our books and enjoy them, not pick up our books and like slug through them.
Well, also, I was seeing, because we have an episode coming out soon on hormones. I know we've been teasing y'all forever. It really is coming soon. And I was just at a particularly angsty part of my cycle as I was reading this book. And I was like, maybe I'm hating on this book because maybe I'm hating on this book because of where I'm at in my cycle.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
The narrator was just really annoying me. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I lost my AirPod for a second. I just popped out. Okay, so what about all of these challenges? I noticed that you proposed a challenge, so I can tell you must be into these, all these other random challenges that aren't Goodreads related.
Yeah, so one of my best friends, which I'm how old am I? I'm 37. Can you say you have a best friend when you're 37? I don't know, but I'm saying it. I'm saying it.
Hold on. This is a whole other topic, because I say this all the time, and then I feel so dumb being like, well, my best friend and Laurel, because I feel like I have a lot of best friends. My best friend and Laurel, and my best friend at the barn, and my best friend next door neighbor, and I've had someone go, "You sure do have a lot of best friends," and I'm just like, well, I'm blessed. Okay, I have great people in my life. Anyway,
I'm fine with it.
Okay, good.
Own it. I think you got to own it. You're like, yes. I have lots of best friends, but you're also, Sarah, you're like a connector kind of person where you are just an easy person to be friends with. So, you know, good for you that you have lots of best friends.
People. I like people. I don't know what to say. This was a weird, like a moment for me. I met up with my dentist. Okay, if you haven't read Finding Gideon, you're gonna be like, what in the world? But my dentist in Louisville was very impactful in my life, and so and he has a role in my book Finding Gideon because he was so impactful. And so when I went back to Louisville after the book was written, I reconnected with him, and I don't have a ton of memories from that time. I mean, all the memories were in the book from that time, and it was mostly me in a dental chair. And he said, Sarah, he said something like lover of people or something like that. Like he used some description, and I was just like, how do you know that? Like I was in your dental chair, and I'm like, do you say this about everyone? Is this like an affirmation used for everyone, or is this something you actually remember about me? Right. How did you even know that? Because I literally just sat in your dental chair, and he like pieced my life back together in a dental chair. So anyway, that was an aside.
So wait, what did he say something about it? Like, is he?
I didn't ask him.
Is that the meaning of your name in Greek or something?
So okay, no, not to my knowledge, but my middle name. Okay, we're going off on a tangent. I don't know if you've heard about this whole thing with like your heavenly name, or there's some like apparently, you know how God renamed people in the Bible,
right?
And so there's been some books come out or something where like God has a name for us, and it may not be the name that our mama gave us. And so like I've prayed about it and been like, God, like what is what is my name that's not the name my mama gave me? And the funny thing, my middle name is Ruth, and Ruth means friend. And I don't really like the name Ruth itself, but I love that my middle name is Friend. And I'm like, maybe that is the name God gave me, is Ruth. Yeah. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think that's suiting for you.
I just like being friends with people. So the only problem when you're friends with a lot of people is my screen time is insane because I have a lot of people texting me.
Yeah. That is a problem.
Yes, and I don't scroll that much. I really don't. I know I made myself sound like I do because I wake up and scroll some mornings, but I am not like sitting on my phone scrolling all day, and my screen time is embarrassing. And it's just, I'm like texting a lot of people. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
I love it. Okay, so going back to it's like a 10-minute tangent on best friends. So yes, if you pay attention at all to my Instagram feed, you know that Lindsay Rochester is one of my dearest friends. And so we buddy read a lot of books together. And so it was Lindsay's idea to, hey, let's get people's recommendations and, do 12 books, which we read a lot more than 12 books together a year, and get people's recommendations. So we called it like the Booksta Besties Challenge and just shared the graphic. Like if anybody wants to join us and get recommendations from people, their top books, their favorite books. And then, we got recommendations from people, a lot of books that were on our radar already, but knowing that someone else was recommending it, like this is one of my favorite books, you should read it, that kind of puts it higher on the priority list, so
yeah, I love that so much.
Buddy
in this those. In this big world of books where there are just books being published hundreds a day, maybe more than hundreds a day, every time I go out on my own, not every time, but almost every time I go out on my own to find a book and I just pick an author I've never read before, I am almost always a little bit disappointed. But when I am recommended a book, I am almost always in love. So I think that is amazing. Like recommending books is like if I could like get people to recommend, like that is the best marketing ever. Because if someone recommends a book, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah.
I love that.
Which, to plug our own podcast, that's one of the reasons why we do our 5-star reads at the end of every episode. One, that they're clean. The books that we recommend are clean. But then two, that we really like these books. And, obviously reading is a subjective art, but I do think that we have good taste,
Yeah.
So probably you'll like the book.
We're pretty picky. I mean, I will say becoming an author has made me a lot more picky.
Yeah.
About what I read. So I have a lot lower patience. So, are you doing any other challenges, or are you just doing the buddy read challenge?
No, just doing the buddy read challenge. Yeah.
I don't do challenges because they overwhelm me. And I also am this like, don't tell me what to do. And I feel like these challenges, I did love yours for the buddy read thing because I was like, oh, well, that's cute. Like you're doing something with a friend. But when they're like a book that starts with an F and one that starts with a G and one that starts with an H, I am like, I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for that book and I'm not going to read it.
And then the nice thing about this particular challenge is that Lindsay and I can decide which books go on the list and when we read them, like it's not, there's no timeline to it.
But it was also it seemed to me like a challenge for readers to have friends recommend 12 books to them. And so then they're going to read. Yeah, because I actually found out about your challenge because I really don't scroll social media. And so I had not seen it on Instagram. And I was in but I am in another social media group on Facebook. I just hop on Facebook and whatever pops up. And so I'm in a Christian something fiction book group. I don't know. And someone had posted the image and they were asking for recommendations. And I was like, oh, I'm going to recommend Tiffany's book. So I like message and I'm commenting. I'm like, Tiffany Noel Chacon has some amazing rom-coms. And the girl was like, thanks. She's the one who issued the challenge. And I was like, well, I still recommend her books.
That's really funny. You obviously can't read my books because I was the one who came up with the challenge.
You issued the challenge. But maybe she, I don't know. I felt like we're supposed to be recommending books for her to read. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, it was great. Okay, so I feel like we're kind of on the same boat that the Goodreads challenge is not where it's at. I also think people get obsessive. You lose your joy of reading. But then I was I keep saying I don't scroll social media and I keep talking about social media. Okay, but then I was on social media and I saw this video of this girl and she hit her reading goal for the year, which was insane. It was 500 books. And her boyfriend threw a pizza party like when we were in school.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, did you have that, Tiffany, the pizza party when you hit your reading goal?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm hating on Goodreads, like the reading goals. But if someone was going to give me a pizza for reading 100 books, you better believe I would set that goal at 100. And so I thought, let's come up with some ideas and see if we can get some places to have reading challenges for us.
Right?
Let's see if we can do this.
Okay. I feel like one of the best like things that go together nicely with books is coffee. Like if a coffee shop did their version of a pizza party, like you can get, a specialty drink for reading a certain amount of books. Like how many readers would just like line up for that,
Okay, you know what? I know some brand new local coffee shops in my area, and I am totally going to pitch this. And I have a friend who owns a tea shop, and she hosts our book club that I run. And so we're going to have to do this. I was also thinking this really isn't my jam. Okay. But it's low hanging fruit. In my area, there are a ton of wineries. And they, I think, would totally get on board. They're always looking for fun marketing ideas. And I could totally see them jumping on this.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Obviously, like I don't really drink, but I could see that even like a book club at a winery would be so cool,
Right.
I bet that would be a hit.
It's super popular out here because there's so many of them, and it's like even if you're not that into wine, it's just fun. They always have tons of land. You can bring your kids can run and play and kick the ball or whatever, and these women are just sitting back drinking wine. I have so many friends. They like rent buses and stuff and go anyway. It's a whole thing where I live.
That's cool.
But yeah, we could get them to do reading clubs or reading goals. Is there anyone big? Like, do we have enough pool with some kind of nationwide thing so it's not just local? Because I want to do this. Like,
Right.
We need to bring this back. I was thinking about Barnes & Noble and Barnes & Noble Cafe. That is very low-hanging fruit, but I don't know that they would listen to me.
Right. But I know. We want to have a Barnes & Noble table. We want them to give us, a free drink when we read 100 books. Like, come on, Barnes & Noble. Come through for us
Barnes
here.
Noble.
Yeah, for real.
We love you. We support you. Now it's your turn.
Right. Exactly. Okay, let me ask you this, Sarah, because we've kind of, both of us are a little bit not on the, reading goals or challenges, but what do you think are some like good aspects of setting a reading goal or having reading challenges? Like what are, for people who are into that, like, why do you think they love that,
like, I think there's some great aspects. I mean, for one, especially, I think it's great when you're getting back into reading, and there's always a wave of people who are like finding that they love books. And so I love the reading challenge for helping people get back into that. I love I can see the benefit. I'm like hating on these challenges that are, that make you read all these random books, but they do make you stretch outside of your comfort zone, right? Like I finish a book and I immediately look at the bottom for my next KU recommendation, and I just happen to read whatever has popped up because it's easy. But doing these challenges helps you stretch, and I would say as an author, might help people find us. So and it does help people read more. As an author, we should be like all the books. You need to have a 300 book challenge this year, and I have written 4.
Right, yeah.
And true. Tiffany has written, I don't know, 9 or something. I don't know what you're at.
Yeah, our book, 9? Our Christmas, a Holly Jolly Christmas Cubicle was number 10.
Yeah, you're on your way to being prolific. So cool. Yeah. I Googled that one time because I was like, what does prolific actually mean? And I think it meant you had to write 30 or more books. Was that what it was? Now I want to Google it again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a third of the way there, I guess. I got a lot of work to do, people. I will say, as far as like setting reading goals and challenges and stuff, I agree. It helps you stretch. It helps you find books, because once you kind of get in a funnel of the same books, like that's what you're seeing on Amazon, that's what you're seeing on Instagram and stuff. And sometimes they all kind of feel the same. And then you find a new genre or a new author, and it gives you something new and fresh. And so I do think that if people are feeling like their reading is a little bit stale, doing a challenge can be helpful in finding new and fresh books to read. I also, and Sarah knows, I love the brain chemistry stuff, but when you set goals and you meet them, you get that dopamine boost, which is nice,
Yeah, it's a bonus.
That there are, if you don't meet the goal, you get a dopamine drop. So set realistic goals, but I do think that is something, a positive thing, when we set reasonable, doable goals for ourselves and then we can check them off. Like, it does feel good for a reason, because our brain gets little happy chemicals, and that is not bad.
I have like a good and a bad, right? So I find that reading can be very addicting, especially when you find the right books. And so there have been times in my life that I have been completely addicted to reading, like can't put it down. I remember when my kids were little, and like this was during COVID, and I just like turned the audiobook up as loud as possible, and I was washing dishes and the kids were screaming and coming unglued, and I was like, I am not listening. I can't deal with this right now. I'm avoiding life by reading a book. And they're all clean books. There's like nothing, but anyway, that said, so I don't think addiction to anything is good for us.
Sure. Yeah.
Except for maybe like addiction to Jesus, right? But on that note, I could have been guzzling alcohol, right? Like I'm in a townhouse neighborhood, and on recycle day, those recycling bins were full of bottles. Yeah. And ours would have like 1 bottle. And I was like, phew, it's a good thing I'm listening to books.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good thing I'm going to the barn and reading books, because otherwise we'd have other problems on our hands. So, that's true. It is an addiction, or it can be an addiction. And I don't think an addiction is good, but time from one thing pulls you away from another, and maybe it helps you make better choices.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I will say, kind of on the negative side, today I was tagged in a post from an ARC reader, an advanced reader, for my book Off the Bench, which came out in November of 2023. So, a little while ago. I'm sorry, 2024, not 2020.
Okay.
But she was apologizing, and she tagged several other authors with the titles of their books. She was apologizing to all of these authors that she didn't get an ARC review out of the books, and she's, promising that she's going to read them and review them and stuff like that. And it was honestly, it was really sad to read because she clearly felt so like torn up about this.
Right.
And again, my book came out a year and 3 or 4 months ago. Like, this is a long time ago.
Like, she's been carrying this, and you don't even, it's like not even on your radar. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's just part of life.
Yeah, exactly. And so I will say, as an author, I obviously can't speak for all authors, but as an author, I really don't want people to feel that way. You know, even if you sign up as an ARC reader, I don't want you to feel that way. I think it's good to be, women of our word and stuff like that and do what we say that we're going to do. But also, like, carrying this ARC reader guilt or any kind of reader guilt for any length of time is not healthy. It's not good. And I do not want people to feel that way. I tell people this when they join, my ARC teams and stuff. Like, I want you to read this book when you're in the mood to read this book, when you're going to enjoy reading this book, because this is why I write, for fun, for you to enjoy it. And so if you're not going to enjoy it, don't read it.
Right.
So I just want to say that.
Yeah. If you can't sit and enjoy it, like if you're having to push through because of a deadline, like it's all suggestions here. Like we're just
right.
We can't make anyone leave a review. And we hope that every single one of you loves our books and leaves a review when you're on our ARC team. But the numbers of an ARC team usually are more like 30% that actually leave a review. And in a dream world, you're hitting 50%. And so and you know what? I am not crying myself to sleep over that 50 to 70% that aren't leaving a review. It just is what it is. It's just part of the numbers, and it's okay because you were busy or it went to your spam folder or you got other stuff going on, and it's okay. We're not losing sleep over it. Me and Tiffany aren't, at least.
Yeah.
Can't speak for other authors, but we're not losing sleep over it.
Yep.
There's enough other things to lose sleep over. So, Tiffany, we didn't put this in the outline, but we have talked about having like a little challenge for ourselves. Yes. I know you're already in a buddy reading challenge, and so you're probably challenged out, but I really wanted to have a challenge for the month of January, or maybe February. Let's do it for January.
Yeah.
Let's at least come up with our book in January. Okay. I have been wanting to read a classic romance.
Yes, me too.
And so we want our listeners to help us decide which classic romance to read. But here is the deal. Pride and Prejudice is off the table. Okay? We know it's the best. We know it's amazing. We know Mr. Darcy is all that, but we want to read something else because we know that one's the one's going to be the most recommended. So please leave a comment on Instagram, leave a comment on YouTube, send us a DM on Instagram, like whatever. Tell us what your favorite classic romance is, and please make sure it's clean, because we want to try out a classic romance that's not Pride and Prejudice.
Yep. And our handle is at the Clean Romance Podcast. So let us know what we should read in the month of January. And maybe we'll finish it in January, and maybe we won't.
But we probably won't.
But whenever we do finish it, we'll talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. Yeah. And also, I did read, was it Emma?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. Don't recommend Emma. I've already read it. Didn't like it. I'm sorry to all you Emma lovers.
All right. Should we talk about our 5-star reads?
Yes, let's do our 5-star reads.
Okay.
I didn't insult the author because she's gone now.
Right. Okay. My 5-star read is a little bit of an older book, but still contemporary. It's called Dear Henry, Love Edith by Becca Kinzer. And it's a really cute read. And I'm trying to think if I should give anything away. But one thing I like about it is they're writing each other notes and they don't know who the other person is really. So there's kind of an interesting element there, and it's cute, it's clean, it's fun and sweet and cozy, all of those things.
All right. So my 5-star read, I am duplicating an author I already recommended because this is what I read over Christmas. Bethany Turner, her book Cole and Layla Are Just Friends. It's a friends to lovers rom-com, and it was very good. And it takes place in New York, and it made me want to go to New York and see all these places we're talking about. And I have to say, there was a moment about halfway through where it was becoming a miscommunication trope, and I was like, no, I am not finishing this. I can't do it. And it literally lasted like one chapter, and their whole thing is that they tell each other everything. And so the miscommunication trope literally lasted a chapter because they tell each other everything. The only miscommunication was just like trying to figure out their own feelings, right? Because that's hard when you've been friends for a long time. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. Super cute. It's a part of a series. So if this is the second in the series, but you could read it standalone. It's just fun if you know the characters crossover. So it's fun to read them. But there you go. Bethany Turner, Cole and Layla Are Just Friends. And just a disclaimer, because I have cut back on my reading goal because we're going to read longer books, I might be deep diving for some 5-star reads into previous years.
And that is okay.
They're still 5-star, and that's what counts.
Yep.
All right, well, happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the Clean Romance Podcast, where clean romance lives happily ever after. Subscribe or follow wherever you listen so you don't miss a single episode. We're really excited. This month we have our hormones episode finally coming out. We are going to give that to you guys soon. And our interview with Madeline Smith about smut, addiction, what that does to your brain. Both of those episodes are excellent. Don't miss them. So definitely subscribe and follow us so that you don't miss those. Until next time. Happy reading. Oh, I almost